Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Legion Labs. I am your host, JR. Today we got Rob, Jose, and Roman.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Hello.
All right. So, yeah, as you guys know, I was not able to make it last week, but Rob did an excellent job hosting. Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
So let's go over some news, guys. I know I like to jump right into it. We got the Delta Squad unit card.
Nice.
So the only thing that's really different from the Clone Commandos, which is interesting, it's called Clone Commandos, and then underneath it's got the little Delta Squad. It's 100, so 25 more points. You get an extra training slot. You get independent recovery, and you get target 2 instead of target 1. And you roll an extra, well, not an extra black, but instead of a white, you roll a black at range 2. So 2 blacks at range 2. Roman, what do you think, man?
That sounds about right. You know, the thing that people don't understand with a lot of these named characters, especially the clones, is they're like this much better than a not named clone. Especially the Republic Commandos, they were badass. Like, I mean, you see them right now in the Bad Batch show and stuff. They're badass troopers. So the named ones are like just this much more badass.
You think it's worth the 25 points for everything they get?
I don't know, man. Already, like, it's hard because it's just like you said, it's not even a second black die extra. It's just 2 black dice instead of a black and a white. I mean, I guess like it's just to have variety. I know I'm gonna paint up a Delta squad, and I'll probably paint up an Omega squad and
Yeah.
call it good. Because you're only able to run 2, right?
Three.
No.
Three.
On that note,
Let's skip that. Let's skip that for now. I know what you're gonna do, but let's skip that
I
for now.
forgot they have infinite courage. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So I definitely think they're worth the 25 points if assuming you can run them in clone
If you have
commandos.
if you have if you have the points, right? Why not?
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is they get so many aims per turn, like 2. You can run like O push or an HQ uplink. You can run stuff, then gets tapped, and then it gets untapped for free. So, and that's in addition to its shields recharging, its gun recharging.
Right.
I think it's definitely worth it, and it's worth doing or bringing.
They just have to be so close is the problem because it's range 2,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I mean, it's going to definitely be a different type of clone list. Like already clones are not playing the range game compared to other
Right.
factions. And now
Everybody else has to run range 4 plus just to like make an effort, like make a difference. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
But they have the infiltrate. Like I'm trying to think. Okay, so if the boogeyman is, and I'm going to assume the boogeyman is and will be EXD until they get gutted, right? If that's the boogeyman, infiltrating into range 2 of some BXs where you can't get one shot sounds really good. And I think clone commandos add a little bit of extra punch on top of your Delta squad adds a little bit of extra punch on top of your clone commandos, and I think it's worth it.
I feel like go ahead, finish.
No, and I think that clones in the current meta, clones are probably going to want to lean into commandos, just like Empire is going to want to lean into range troopers, because what is currently meta is stuff that this will do well against. Now, that doesn't mean this stuff is better than what's already in the game, just that I think these 2 releases pair very well into EXD. And I haven't gotten to try EXD versus range troopers yet, so maybe I'm just completely off base, but that's my hunch.
I feel like independent recovery is kind of redundant, but I feel like it's icing on top of icing, right? Because in my opinion, you want to run these guys with HU uplink, and you always want to spend your second action to recover, because the moment they get an order, they get 2 aims right off the bat, and that's your icing on the cake.
Right, but if you run HQ uplink and you run O push, right, then
that's the thing is you miss a turn without HQ, so you miss a turn without
right, but you get it back for free the next turn. So you get 2
sure,
aims, then 1 aim, then 2 aims, then
every
1
other
aim.
turn. But if you can do it, if you can manage to do
so
it,
it almost becomes cycle then.
Yeah.
Right, but that's still really good, and it's still an aim while moving every turn.
And I agree with that. It's like, but I think it's more efficient if you're able to give it an order every turn, to always have 2 aims, in my opinion.
See, I only disagree because to me, you want to recycle the weapon anyways. And I know you're saying that that you get to just recover on your second action every turn, but I can't think of many games where you want to just stand in a specific spot the entire game, right? Like even in very static lists, which I play a
Well,
lot
well,
of.
if they're range 2 and they're infiltrating, you might be having them just hold down a middle objective, something towards the back. Where yeah, it is one of those like you're gonna have to come at me. They just won't really be able to. Yeah, even in that instance, you wouldn't be able to shoot at them unless they come around at you. So you're still kind of wasting every other turn. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see played out.
To be honest, I think the most useful thing that if you could get really good at is complete the mission tokens. I think if you're really good at that, that's what's really determined who's good at with these guys and who's not good with these guys.
Oh yeah.
Because critical 2 and the surge to defend, like you really got to predict where your opponent's going and where you're going to be.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jose?
So I was kind of bummed by Delta. I expected a little more umph. The 25 points I think is justified with all the stuff you get. That the recovery is going to be solid, especially if you lock them up with stuff that's going to need recovering, especially if you like, their sniper rifle, for instance, will always be ready to go. Push, like Rob said. I just, dang, I don't know, like, I'm just a little bit more impressed than regular clone commandos. My only thing is there was something around the Discord. They haven't ruled it yet, but the word is the assumption is it's Delta Squad clone commandos and it has a dot by it. So people are like freaking out thinking like, okay, well, I could either take one squad of Delta commandos and no other commandos, or I could take 3 commandos.
It's
So I don't know.
So,
I-
well, since you brought it up, as it sits right now, like you can't run Delta Squad.
they're
at
gonna
more
fix
clone
it.
commanders.
It's a clear case of needing an errata. Like there's no
You
way.
hope.
Yeah, you hope.
You
But
hope it's AMG. You hope.
Yeah, like
Yeah. I mean,
I honestly, I think, in my opinion, this is like a hot take, dead on arrival unit because like
it's not going to be that way
well,
though. And
don't get me wrong, in the fun nature, it's you're going to be taken, but like competitive wise, I feel like you want to run at least 2 clone commandos, maybe 3, to make good use of the complete the mission token. Only
Yeah.
having one Delta Squad.
I think when you're looking at these, you have to basically assume that you can run Delta Squad and 2 commandos. If
why?
you can't, why? Because that's how all their previous releases have been, and we've seen them make numerous mistakes in the past,
Sure.
like the recent past, that make me think, okay, they just fucked up here, and they literally didn't. Like I much more believe that they fucked up where the dot went on the card rather than saying, oh, you can only run Clone Commando, Delta Squad, or normal commandos. I mean, if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, right? And if I am,
You're thinking it's more of a surge to crit on a defense roll, misprint.
Yeah.
Super wild, yeah.
Honestly, I think this is where we're wrong. I don't think AMG messed up. I think AMG was like, yeah, you guys can only run because isn't this
I think they're
this is
waiting.
based off
If
the
it,
game, right? And there's only one Delta Squad.
Oh yeah, so
but
the
there's
clone,
more commandos.
so the clone commandos all have there is Alpha, Delta, Beta, Iota, whatever, Omega squad. They all have like a designation, So and they're all 4-man units in there. It's just they're lucky enough to have gotten enough coverage because in the Republic Commando novels, there's only 2 Republic Commando units that got named characters and got the spotlight, but there's a ton of other ones.
So I mean, to me, right? I don't know. Did
It's
they
hard.
just fuck up
Hard
and
to
put a
tell.
dot? Like
I don't think
that's
I don't
that's
think
my
they-
assumption.
I think it's
That's your
balancing out
hope.
that I think it's balancing out that 25 point extra goodie stuff. Because you're getting all that for 125. That's the trade-off. You don't get any of the commandos because you get all that other stuff.
Well, I mean,
Could be.
it,
I would love to be wrong.
I'm going to tell you this right now, Rob. I hope you're right. I hope.
so
we're
what
wrong.
are
The reason why I'm saying that is because when Ewoks came out and you can only run 2 call to arms and they had the 2 dots, I was hoping I was wrong too, and that you could every single one of these Ewoks would run call to arms. Nope, it's only 2.
Yeah.
Only 2. That was sad.
I don't know. Because I'm trying to think of a similar unit, and the only similar unit I can think of would be like Inferno Squad, but they're not like Inferno Squad's technically not unique. What's unique is the fact that you have to equip Delmico and Gideon. That's unique.
Does
Right.
Inferno have the ISF tag on the bottom of their name?
So Inferno, I have the card up right now. It says Imperial Special Forces Inferno Squad, just like the Commandos, except there's no
Yeah.
dot. but again, they have equip with specific characters.
Yeah, but the dot's the main part.
There is no dot
There's no dot on Inferno Squad.
Because it's
because
on Del Mico and
right. And so what I
Gideon
think
Hack.
happened is they said we need to make it so you can only run one Delta Squad. And what they should have done is put the dot next to Delta Squad, but maybe they couldn't do that or they didn't know how to do that. And I think that realistically, this is either a mistake or they're going to reword what the dot means or
I
something.
hope you're right.
And look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I
It
think
sucks
that
if you're wrong.
I think we can all agree that if I am wrong and if you can only bring Delta Squad
You'll eat
and
your
no
hat.
other
Oh.
commandos, then they're dead on arrival. I don't think anyone
Yeah,
here
you just play
disagrees.
regular commandos and get
So I
through.
think it's more interesting for us to talk about, okay, let's say you can.
Mhm.
And so now what? Like, let's assume you can, right? We all agree if you can't, dead on arrival, don't ever run, right? But let's assume you can. Do
I
you
think
guys still think
run. No, I think you run one of these and then 2 other ones.
2 commandos.
Yeah.
because my question is now when we were talking about them, we were adding extra stuff on top of them, right? So they're not 25 points more. They are now like, let's see, so you
Like 150
yeah,
Mando
they're
range.
like yeah, now they're super expensive and there's still only four of them. And so right, because if you add offensive push and you add an HQ uplink, they're now 116. And are they worth 116 when you can get a clone commander or commando for 75, literally 50 points cheaper, and it's basically the same thing, minus a couple nice things? Like, I
It's
don't
really
know.
gonna matter on the punch, like how hard can they hit to be
Yeah.
effective? Because you're right, like it's a little bit more firepower. Infinite courage is always amazing to have. Like
Well,
these
so
guys are pretty much
let's-
If your
royal.
commander goes down,
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that for a second, if you don't mind. Infinite
Mhm.
courage, does it actually matter on these guys? Like,
Oh.
like the
if your
This-
commander goes down, your whole army it's Vader. You have
Yeah.
Vader now.
But they
Okay, so it's
recover
fun.
though. But they recover on their own, so they're not even getting like
So-
suppressed or panicked on their turn.
right. So
No,
the
but if
biggest thing the infinite courage adds is the standby stuff, right? You can't get your standby revoked.
Which
Oh,
is
that's
huge.
true. Yeah.
And is
Huge,
that
though.
that big of a
Yeah.
deal on
the-
this specific unit?
I think it's
So
huge.
it's huge. It's huge because the infinite courage. Screw the standbys. Okay, what's better? Commander Vader basically means none of his boys fucking
They
retreat.
never yeah.
They never panic. Okay, and that's regular Imperial units. If I bring Delta with Infinity Courage and you ice my commander, who's getting promoted? Delta, and now my clone ball
I'm sorry,
is never
but,
gonna panic.
But if your game plan is to let your commander die so that you can have infinite courage, that is a
Oh, with
terrible game
Obi, just take all the hits, and then by the time that they get
so
Obi done,
bad.
Yep.
That's such a
that's
bad.
actually
Ro-
a good
Roman's-
idea.
Yeah, Roman's got a good point. You run
I'm just gonna lose on
Obi-Wan-
kill points just so I can get infinite
Well,
courage
no,
for the
because
last two
like
turns.
No, I
think
said if you no, I mean you're not running I'm not running these guys with an expensive commander.
so these
I'm running them with a 55-point commander. So if you take 55 points from me, okay, but that means
He shouldn't
You're
be near
not
the
gonna
front
get-
at all.
the generic clone command cards, does it have to? Would Delta Squad be able to use them?
Yeah.
They would,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So, in my opinion, I think you're underestimating the standby game with these because if you're a really good player with it, what you want to do is have them hidden behind something, and then when a key opportunity arises, you're going to want to move them out. Just like you said, proc offensive push. Then they take a standby, and now they can't strip that standby. So now you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. Like they're great, in my opinion, great zoners. That is going to probably potentially, hopefully, and we don't know this until we play test it, hit hard. And
It's the hit hard aspect. It's
Right.
eight black, no
Yeah.
surge, maybe crit 2, which in that case changes a little, right? But are they going to hit hard enough to make you actually scared of a standby from them?
Right.
That's
But-
the thing to me is, are you really that scared of a standby?
well, you also
It-
say
it-
get back
it
up
de-
with like
depends.
3 pins, right?
in my experience with the standby game, back when the clones used to share all standby, is usually you don't want to get hit first, right? When you're moving
of
into
course.
something key positions, that's going to be detrimental to the game, and that's when you're going to see these standbys come out. It's just like, oh snap! Do I try to take advantage? Do I not try to take advantage? Do I just play safe? Like it's in my opinion a great zoning piece, and that's what you really want is to make your opponent second guess what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
running commandos on like a middle KP.
Well, it's just one squad. If you could do it with all 3 squads, it would be a different
But still,
story,
even
right?
even just one though, it's the same thing when you deep strike Vader in to the middle is just the threat of taking any damage early on in the game just for going to the middle and try to contest the objective. You're kind of forcing your opponent to wait a little bit or second guess it at the very least. Again, it's not gonna is it gonna win you the game right away? Probably not, but it'll throw them off their game a little bit, maybe.
Is
And it might
Delta
come to
1
a
wound
point.
models or 2 wound models? I don't
One.
remember.
One.
Whoa, never mind.
Yeah,
All right.
never mind.
Ah, thank you.
Never mind.
Hold on.
Back it up.
I'm glad you thought about that. I'm like, that match does Delta have 2?
No, they are
Inferno has 2.
They have 4 health, just like a normal commando squad, and they have a get out of jail free card, mind you. But it's not
Oh,
enough to make
yeah,
me
the
scared of the
Katarn.
standby. Like, I don't know, man. It's just not that scary to me.
We'll have to see. It's gonna definitely come down
And we'll have to see. Maybe I play
Yeah.
against it, and in 3 months, I'm like, this is BS. AMG, you've ruined the game. These damn
You've ruined the
commandos.
Because you can't
Damn-
underestimate 8 dice. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Like-
freaking BXs right now rolling.
Dude, dark or not dark, Death
Anyway.
Troopers are throwing like 8 dice usually.
Yeah.
Like
Seven.
Troopers, full scouts. I've
They're
been
basically-
nailed by that dice pool.
They're doing the same dice pool as Dark Troopers at range 3. Except they have critical 2 instead of critical 1, assuming they're in the
and they have to be closer. Oh no,
Right.
Dark Troopers also have to be pretty close too, right?
No, I'm assuming the range 3. At range 2, Dark Troopers do more.
Hmm.
But they also
Yeah,
have full
the
armor and they
blast.
cost literally double the cost. So but they go twice a turn. Like if you compare these to Dark Troopers, all of a sudden it's like
I don't know. What do you think of what is it, 8? So 6 blacks, 1 red, lethal 1. That's kind of my
I
character
like that a
punch.
lot better actually
Yeah,
for the
yeah, that's-
lethal.
that's
Especially
gonna
with the
hit.
target too.
So imagine that with the standby right there. Now you got a second guess. Like, what are you gonna do? Right?
Because you're gonna
Yeah.
lose a dude more likely
Yeah.
than not.
Yeah.
And if you have a tank, they can do the 1 to 2 scatter or sorry, impact gun.
Well, and especially since the nerf to all the force.
Well,
users-
okay, time out. The sniper's 3 to 4. It's either or. It's either 4 red, lethal 1, or it's
I would just hate
8
to
black.
see a unit at like a fucking stormtrooper, a T-21 unit at range 3 just one shot my fucking
Commando. It does.
because it could
Two shot.
happen.
2 shot. No, it can't.
Okay.
They can only get 2 shot.
Yeah.
But still, it could happen. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. They have 4 health. They are so
I mean, I don't disagree with you, Rob. I still think the
Yeah.
commanders are better than the Delta Squad, but I mean, we'll see how that meta game goes. 'Cause
yeah,
I think
and
they seem like they would be still good, but I don't know how good they would be.
yeah,
compared
I
if you
just
took
think
3.
you save the points, put the points somewhere else, run 3 commandos, call it a day. Delta
I
Squad's
think, I think
great.
the question is how do
but-
they hold up against Ewoks?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they can't shield an Ewok spear. So there you go.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
let me
4
check the
wounds
armor.
against Ewoks is just nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing, dude.
Like,
Especially because he got the little pierce hatchet.
especially because they have to start at range 2 as well to shoot the Ewoks.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know because
I don't want these against an Ewok, that's for sure.
Well, no, because the crackback is the Ewoks go in, you burn the armor, right?
Nope,
and then
doesn't work in melee. It's
you
range attack only.
Oh,
Yeah, look
you're
at that.
right, you're right.
No,
The
it doesn't.
shields,
I'm-
the
I'm-
shields and the armor doesn't work in melee, right?
Ewoks,
Yeah,
Ewoks walk up to
smash.
your
Yeah,
fancy armor.
yeah.
They're like, you should have brought Dark Troopers because they have actual armor, not
This
this
is
one.
why I think we should have a lot of LOSs everywhere.
It wouldn't make a difference. It would not
Everything
make a
becomes
difference.
viable in this
Would-
game.
no,
if
it would
everything-
not. It would not make a difference. These would still get wrecked by Ewoks.
I'm not saying I'm not saying line of sight blocker for these guys. I'm saying just in general, everything comes be so much more viable to play than as opposed to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
more open table.
Anyways,
When you play me,
We
Rob,
have-
I'm building a heavy LOS table. You better be ready.
Just
we're
one
playing in
wall
my
in the middle.
place.
You
No,
better
no,
be
no.
ready.
No. You know what? I complained about this to Roman the last time we played. We're playing in a neutral place where somebody else is setting up.
I honestly,
and we're gonna play at the same time as Toby
I got you, JR.
and
I'll set
Jose
the table.
because we're in the same
JR loves
same
my
round of
tables.
league. So it's gonna be Jose versus Toby at one table, and it'll has to be Legends, right? Those two at one table, the 2 of us at the other table, and the game is really just who can get louder
Well,
during
I'm
this
not.
game.
I'm not gonna get loud because I'm gonna tell you right now, Rob. You could build every single table against me. It doesn't matter to me, man. Like, go for it.
I mean, I'm awful at building tables. I don't want to build it. I want someone else to build it. I'm not saying I should build it. Like
Rob's like, I thought putting all the terrain in one corner was gonna be good for the game. It would force us to fight around it.
Oh man. So,
actually,
yeah,
we should. Are we pivoting to something else right now? Because I should talk about the league, the games that have already happened so far, right?
yeah. Totally.
Yeah, go for it.
I didn't even bring that up, huh?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, go
so
for it.
week 1 of the league, we are still in round 1. Turns out the Bart League players are much more excited to play Legion than the Lisa League players, as all of their games have already concluded. They could do a league game a week and be fine. Us Lamos in the Lisa League, on the other hand, only one of our games has been played. So in the Bart League, in game 1, Brian had a bye. So if you're listening and you still want to join the league, I will let somebody join in late into the league to fill out this single last slot in the Bart League. We have 1 spot in the league. I'd rather one person not have a bye from here on out. But if they do, is what it is. Meanwhile, Adam has defeated John, which, mind you, he sent me his list before playing John. And he said, hey, can you fix this? And I fixed it. Jose was in the car. He helped me out.
You guys horrible. Horrible. I saw that list. I was like, what are they doing?
It's all he had. We did
That's all he had,
That's not
We
dude.
did the best we
That's
could.
not true. That's not true. I was telling
He was
him,
going to do a Droidica, a single Droidica, a single
Magna.
Magna. He was going to have like 5 B1 squads with extra guys and E5C, or no, I think he still had rocket launchers. It was just like, we fixed
It
it.
was
the best we could.
terrible.
I think you guys should have put the pilot on the AAT. That would have been.
I told you that.
That would have been a lot better.
I told him that, JR.
Did he
I
not have
told
the
him.
Pirate?
No, you gave him the T-Series droid.
Oh shit! I think I just gave him the wrong one. Wait a minute.
He
wait
just
a
went
minute.
into witness protection. Oh shoot.
Wait a minute.
His voice changes. Vader's.
He went black and started talking loud.
So I saw him.
So wait.
switch out the
You're
dice.
what are you saying he should have had in it?
The
The
pilot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me not.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
know.
I don't know. Like I saw that and I'm like, I wanted his tank to not have.
Pilot with HQ uplink is really good, and especially if you give the
Because it
AAT,
just recovers shoots every turn.
Yeah,
See,
and you
why
give
didn't you
the-
tell me that much,
give
Jose?
the
Like,
AAT link targeting array, and it always has a name.
okay, so
Yeah.
no, you can't give it both HQ uplink and.
Oh yeah, you're right. But still, the HQ uplink would be better because you recover and everything.
Yeah. So that would have been
JR,
better.
do you take question for JR? I want to see if I was right about this. So the AAT,
Mhm.
you take the high velocity shells. Do you take a second shell in that slot?
No.
Well, no, because he's recovering every turn, so it's just.
Well, no, that's you were wanting to put something in that slot. I'm like, you don't need another one. You're like, well, what happens when you just?
Well, no,
you
because
find-
in the version I was giving him, he didn't have HQ uplink on the tank, so he wasn't going to be able to recover. So he would he wasn't going to recover every turn. And I said, for a new player, just give him a different gun, and then each round he just shoots a different gun. But anyways, we were way off base here. This is not the point of what we're. So, anyways, his
Well,
list is bad, but he still
I-
beat John, so that's.
Well, then I was talking to John about the game and everything, and not to. I think they all played really good and everything. So no.
So yeah, what happened in that game? If you want to recount,
No,
for
I
Adam.
was in and out. But
Okay.
like as the game seemed to go pretty good, I gave some tips here and there so that the way could learn.
Oh God.
And then
People love when you give tips, by the way.
I don't know. I don't think they do.
He's like, you're stupid. You should have did this. Fucking rookie as he goes back in the garage to play Magic.
he said Rob told me to put the T-series. Like, oh no, wrong. No, I'm just
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. I don't play CIS. I put the.
No,
I was
you're
like,
fine.
I
You're
don't want
fine.
him to have AI.
It was
on this
still a
thing.
good list. It was still a good list.
Like I'm like, you don't get an order, you're fucked. Like you have to attack first action.
I found out that in the game, and I could be wrong, but I think Adam was barraging while moving. I was like, oh yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, you can't do that.
What do you mean?
When you
You
barrage, you spend both your actions to attack twice. You can't move and then attack.
Oh, I've never used barrage before. I didn't realize you can't move with it.
Rob's the one telling him, yeah, just move in the barrage, you're good, man.
I mean,
That's what's happening.
he didn't even bring up barrage once. So like
No,
that's
no, no.
interesting.
Yeah, so I just I
That's what
could-
happens when the when Rob goes dark on the screen. He's like, so I told him he can move and he can just shoot twice.
No, I'm trying. The only thing keeping me bright right now is my other monitor. So when I switch tabs to a darker tab, like I'm looking at barrage right now.
Right.
Right.
Witness protection rub.
So I told Rob it's not that bad if you just salt your dice.
Oh, so okay, so it uses both actions to make 2 attacks with barrage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool keyword.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyways.
Wild.
it's good, but it's not
Yeah.
good because there's
Then
cover
you-
everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Well, and if you cover everywhere, and you would have to have both guns, mind you, by the way. But anyways,
you don't have to have
So-
both guns.
You don't have to use
Main
both. You
gun.
use
Yeah.
them-
You
yeah,
can
you
use
use-
the
because
gun.
the tank has a gun.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
360
Yeah.
cannon, which
Yeah,
is
you
pretty
want to
good.
shoot the 4 red twice. That's the gun you're going to shoot both times.
Got
Because you're
it.
not allowed to use Arsenal 2.
Oh,
Rob, after the league, you're gonna borrow my CIS and you're gonna learn to play CIS, bro.
You gonna
sure.
learn.
You gotta
Um,
learn.
Today, boy.
Anyways, game 3, Alejandro versus Noah went to Noah. Congrats. And then in the game of Pet versus Michael, Michael won. And then I don't know what the segue is for our next section. I don't even know what the next section is, but the one Lisa League game that has been played was between Daniel and Roman. So do you want to
Yes.
talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about it real quick. We played last night, so it's still pretty fresh.
Nice.
It was fun to see Daniel come out. He's wanting to play more Legion. I'm sorry, I need to speak a little closer to the mic. Yeah,
Eat
he
it.
I know. He no, it was cool to see Daniel. I hadn't seen him. It was funny because we were talking. I think the last time he played was against me before LVO when he ran experimental droids for my league. Remember we did the Battle Force?
Oh,
League?
yeah. That
Yeah,
was
so
a fun
it's
one.
been a minute. Yeah, so I was able to give him back his barricades he forgot like 6 months ago.
Nice.
He wants to play more. He said he's trying to get a game in once a week.
Sweet.
Yeah, Daniel brought, so his whole thing is he wanted to play as many heroes as he could. So he
Nice.
brought Mando, Boba, Cassian.
Rebels? Okay,
Yes.
Rebels. Yeah, clearly Rebels.
Yeah, Mando, Boba, Cassian, and Lando.
He didn't have
Um,
Grogu. That's one more hero.
couldn't fit it.
Jeez, Nick, you hear that? Hero hammer, but no Grogu.
And
And then some other junk that doesn't matter, I assume.
no. He had a bus
Oh, jeez.
with a medic.
Damn.
He had a bus with a medic.
He chose violence.
Dude, the fleet unit with the shotgun, the pure shotgun.
In the bus?
Yeah, of course, dude. Well,
It's like
it's
there's
a
another
good.
option, you know?
For the
Yeah.
record, this is the more competitive league, and it is showing with that list. Like, I'm terrified. Like,
And then he ran a naked rebel unit, and then he ran a rebel unit with Binox. And he
oh,
just-
nice.
And that unit just hung out with Cassian, and then it just kept passing him.
Yeah, that's a great use of a unit. No K2?
No K2, couldn't fit it.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and it was a good idea. Basically what happened, so we ended up playing a skirmish game with 800 points.
Yeah.
We just
called
ignored the
Blitz.
other yeah. And so I wanted to run fun stuff too. I didn't know what league. I said I'll be in part of whatever division. So I brought stuff that I hadn't played before, or I'm not a
Nice.
big fan of, or that just I'm like, it'd be fun to see this. So I brought my commander was Veers.
Nice.
I brought the Seventh Sister. It was my first
Ooh.
time playing her, and then I brought 3 storm units, T-21s, and captains with offensive
Okay.
push. And then I brought an E-web and a Gav tank, and then I
Mhm.
brought a shore unit with the heavy weapon and the extra dude, and a mortar unit. So already I'm not a big fan of the shore units. I don't think they're as good as stormtroopers. Not really a big fan of the mortar, but it was just a cheap activation. And yeah, I just wanted to run the E-web on the tank. You know, it's always just fun, just running with a big ass giant line of sight blocker.
The Edward special.
Yeah. And Daniel had some really good rolls with his fleet survived like one turn longer than they normally would have, and then they just obliterated stuff because they
Oof.
basically the way he was running it is he'll bring the bus up along with Mando and Boba, so you got to decide which one of the three you're gonna attack, and whichever one it is, it's the wrong choice. Like because because yeah, like his Mando didn't really save all that well, but he just healed him. And then I'm like, oh well,
Ooh.
fuck, the bus is like fucking me up. So I'm like, maybe I'll just take down the bus. And I just couldn't get through the armor. Like even with critical and stuff, I just wasn't rolling shit. And then the shields mitigated enough. Like it's just wild that they can block crits with the shields. And then yeah, so by the time after that, his fleets came out. They killed all but the captain on my one of my stormtrooper units. I shot a whole 9 shots into him, and he blocked all of them pretty much. No, I think he did. He blocked all of them actually. Yeah, he blocked all of them.
Jeez.
And then he shot another unit and killed all but one dude. So it was just like he was just with the
Yeah.
fleet.
Ugh.
So yeah, we went till the end of round 2, and I was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm not gonna win this. I had
No.
well, dude, I think I had Veers left untouched. I had
Oh.
one rep or one stormtrooper unit up on a piece of terrain, untouched, and then I had Seven Sister untouched. And then he killed my Gav tank, he killed my E-Web, he killed my
Jeez, how did he kill the Av tank? What did he have with impact?
Boba's jetpack.
Oh, yep,
And then
that'll do
probably
it.
Cassian.
Yep.
Cassian, yeah,
Cassian,
just a bunch of little stuff. Yeah, just a bunch of little bit of everything.
I mean, it only has what, 9 health? 7?
Eight, eight,
8. Okay.
8 red defense dice.
Yeah, it's not great.
Doesn't surge to
I want
defend
it to be
either.
so good. It's such a cool mini.
Yeah.
So yeah, he killed that. The E-Web popped out, killed that. Like, he was just mopping shit up. And again, he's got so much Pierce is the thing.
Mhm.
Which he was making a good point. Like that against clones is gonna be really fucking good because everything he's shooting at is gonna be dying at least
Yep.
1 or 2 wounds. With the Pierce. Because yeah, Mando has lethal 1. He gets like an aim for existing and then another aim for moving. So like yeah. Yeah, it was
Nice.
fun. It was fun. It was a fun game. Again, I got to play some fun janky stuff. I'll probably change up my list in a bit, anyways. To something I don't want to say a little more competitive, just units I'm more familiar with, more comfortable with. Or maybe I'll just run some other crazy shit. We'll see.
Nice. Yeah. Your next, who's your next game against? Oh, you've got an easy one. I'm joking. There's no easy game. Well, there's one easy game you could have gotten, but that's not your next game. Your next game
It's
is
not
against
Toby.
Nick. I'm gonna lose to Toby this next weekend and just eat crow. But yes, that was
Toby
the joke.
tables you. I want to see that happen to Jose. Jose talking all this shit, and then like 2 turns in, just being like, "Fuck, man, I'm getting tabled."
Like I said, I just want to be there when Jose and Toby play. Okay, that's the whole.
I'll invite you over. I'll let you know where the game is, and you're welcome to come crack a
It'll be the
beer.
pay-per-view. It'll be the pay-per-view.
Oh, pay-per-view. There
We're
you
all
go.
there just eating popcorn.
You're gonna see JR like the Joe Rogan though. Oh, I'll be like Biggie with a popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Any more news on the league?
No, that's it for the league for now. Just for all those that haven't gotten their games in, just send them to me when you can. Do like it when you post pictures. So post pictures in the Discord. Let us see those games. But yeah, keep playing, keep having fun. Next round will be up on the 28th. I'll post it in the morning. So
On the 28th? Oh.
yeah.
What if we don't get our game in by then?
If you can't get your game in by then, we'll just finish it. Just get it when you can. Again, as I mentioned to you earlier with the Scott games, we're doing those definitely more loose than the other games as well, because he's only making it down here every once in a while. So we're trying to make it so when he does come down into town, he gets multiple games. So whenever you try to get that game in with him, let me know, and I'll try to get a game in with him that same day, because I'm his next opponent. So
okay, cool.
Just keep me in the loop on that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's why I've been handling everything on Discord so you can see it.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
But yeah, so that's league stuff. What do we got next, Mr. Bossman?
Moving on, we're going to talk about, so Roman, what do you think, man, about the announcement that AMG is not doing Worlds anymore? What do you think about all that?
So I didn't get a chance to read. I've been ultra busy. So what is the exact details of it? Like, are they just not running a Worlds event at Adepticon or?
So I'm just gonna explain it since JR is gonna talk about his opinion as well. The long and the short of it is that they have decided to remove themselves from having a world's tournament, like a world championship tournament. In exchange, they are hosting what they are calling regional grand championships. And they're
So that
it,
might be like their world qualifiers, like how they had before.
right. Basically, the world qualifiers from before. Their argument in doing so is that it is too expensive to run worlds, particularly flying people out there, and that this will better serve for traditionally underserved communities and communities that, yeah, thank you, communities that were unable to basically have access to worlds before, right? This would be more equitable is their underlying argument behind this.
So how does that work then? Are they going to be like, so there's just no world championships anymore at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, in theory, they're running these grand championships or grand tournaments, whatever they're called. I think they're calling them grand tournaments. They're the argument that people are taking from this is that they might run more grand tournaments than World Open qualifiers, but we don't know that yet. They asked people to sign up to be one, but it's a 32. By the way, 32 player minimum for these tournaments, so it's already higher than like we couldn't get a 16. And now they
Yeah.
say, well, if you want a good tournament for AMG support, it's got to be 32. So it's now harder.
Yeah.
There's no
yeah, that doesn't make
carrot.
any sense.
Like there's
Yeah.
no carrot. So
To be honest, I think what it is that they just didn't want to run worlds. They didn't want to spend the money. They didn't want to spend the effort. I think
Well, that's what it sounds like from what you
Mhm.
said. Is it's too expensive to fly people out. I think them actually running the event, they realize like, oh fuck, this is way too much shit. This is not worth the squeeze.
Mhm.
This juice is not worth the squeeze. Again, to have your own fucking judges who never judged events before, who nobody knows who they are, who probably haven't ran a Legion tournament ever. Like it's
well, the judges there, right? The judges at Worlds were fine. The judges knew what they were doing. It was the organizers that were AMG, right? Let's just to clarify.
I,
Here,
I
right?
don't know. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I
the
don't know
judges were
difference.
fine. The judges were fantastic. They had, right? It's the best judges, right? They had people who knew what they were doing. They had Seth, right? And he wasn't even head judge because he didn't even know the rules the best, right? So the judges were fine. It was the tournament organizing that they didn't know what they were doing on, to be clear. But yeah.
So yeah, it just I don't know, like the surprise port that came out with all the extra stuff for the qualifiers the year before, with like the Grievous and the Yoda and all that stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
I didn't really like it. I didn't really care for it because it just seemed like it was just like, hey, here's art that we have already of the Clone Wars. Or just slap it on the card. That's how I felt. I even feel like that with the long like promo cards, the tarot cards, because I feel like the Shadow Point is the tarot card. So just like, yeah, just print out a tarot card. Like, let's cut. I feel like they're cutting costs everywhere, right? And I think this is what got the next axe with Worlds is it was too expensive. They don't know how to throw a tournament, and it was chaos. Nobody really had fun at Worlds, in my opinion.
No, okay. Again, everyone had fun at Worlds. The problem isn't that people didn't have fun. It's that they said I could have had more fun if. Right. To me, I think today's
the Discord said people had fun at the extra activities at Worlds.
People had
they
fun
were
at
miserable
Worlds
during the
itself.
event. I read the Discord. You're gonna
I
say
was
the Discord,
there.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were there.
and everyone I saw was.
But that's not what was written in the Discord. People had fun at the outside events more than they had fun in the actual tournament. That was all in the Discord.
I think in general, people are going to be having fun playing Legion at any level, especially if you're that into it enough to go to a Worlds event. So they're probably having fun regardless.
Yeah.
But like I think, like Rob said, it's going to be one of those like it would have been more fun if this, like it would have been a next level thing. It would have felt like a Worlds event if this.
Right, and again, I don't think it matters. And this is so I want to sort of slightly pivot. Now that it's a week later, we now know that Embracer Group, who runs Asmodee or owned Asmodee, basically shit the bed, and they were over the whatever in debt, and they have decided as of today to split into 3 distinct companies. Embracer Group is mainly for video games. So the fact that they owned Asmodee, who owns AMG and the other guys, was kind of an outlier. but even though they were the ones making the most money. But one of the crucial things that Embracer Group just announced, and we are just learning about this as the public, but I bet you dollars of donuts that AMG and Asmodee already knew this was happening months ago, right? So when last week they announced, hey, no Worlds, they already knew that this split was going to happen. But when this split happened, most of the debt that Embracer Group had went to Asmodee, which means now that company, and it's something insane, like $600 billion in debt. And so I kind of think that they just got shafted here, and Asmodee told AMG, we have to go into emergency, we can't spend money mode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of
all
what
the extra
happened.
shit.
Because like I agree, like the whole announcement thing was like a PR move, in my opinion. It's like, hey, we will support you more at a smaller level, and it's just like it's not really a smaller level because now it requires 32 people as opposed to 16. So we still ain't gonna get it, you know. But I think those store kits that they announced, I don't know if you can you get them, Roman?
Yeah.
I can, yeah. I got Pablo's Wild Ride finally.
No, I'm talking about that new one.
No,
You get
I know,
those already?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically the store championship kit. So like the one that had the foil boba, it's basically those without the world invite.
Okay,
So
so
the-
like we can get it on a local level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Smaller
we can
tournament. We just don't. We're just not considered a grand tournament.
correct.
Yeah,
that's
that'd
different.
be it's going to be basically the difference between a store championship and a world's qualifier event, where it's more like a big local event, like a instead. So remember in the store championship kit, there'd be the one invite, and then the world qualifier event, there'd be the
Mhm.
four. It's
Yeah.
gonna be the difference of that, but without the invites. So you're gonna have different prize support more likely than not, different stuff they're giving out. Maybe a different player minimum again with the store kits, whatever they're gonna be calling them. They'll probably be the same shit that it was before 16 or something. Well, I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know, man. I can run it however I want. If there's no world qualifier or invite,
Yeah,
on
and
there,
that's what they said too. Is just, well, I don't think they've officially talked about them, but from what we can tell, it's just do whatever you want with these. You can use it for painting,
Right.
you can use
So
them for
like
tournaments, you can use them for
my
X, Y, Z.
overall like consensus of this is that I'm kind of happy with it because they're supporting us on a local level if we're allowed to get those store kits and we can have fun with them and everything and more surprise support, right? That like because I'm all about building the community. Like I don't care that we have a world champion or everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was awesome to go to Adepticon and have a big tournament for Legion. I think that drew in more people, in my opinion, to want to play at a highly competitive level. But building the community, I think, is the ultimate goal here.
Well,
And
you can still be competitive too, even with the less events. Again, if FLG is just the one running the big events, like if it's just LVO and SCO and LSO and all that stuff, and those are the big ones you're going to, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I used to do wrestling, like USA Wrestling Freestyle, and there'd be the big like regional events and stuff, and you would travel across the country playing these big tournaments and stuff, and there'd be the world and stuff, but people would know like even without the worlds thing, like outside of it, you go to another region and be like, oh, that's so and so. He just won this and this and this at these different areas. Like you're kind of running it almost like a circuit without having to be forced to be like on that grind of like I got to win all these events or win this event before the worlds comes up or whatever. So I think it makes it more fun as a like, especially with people like Nick who are rolling up to have like just a fun event with their buddies and stuff at a bigger platform, bigger stage. I think it's gonna be better on that because the more focus is gonna shift to that. You're gonna see LVO, SEO, Bayo get a little bit more prestige now that they're not looking at them as like, oh, it's just a qualifier event, it's just the regional event. It's like, no, these are whatever they're called. What was the big kit?
What do you mean?
What was the big hit called? Not the store one, but the bigger
They
one.
didn't. They haven't announced anything
Oh.
about pricing for these grand tournaments. We don't know.
Grand tournament.
We yeah. Oh, you're talking about the. I think it's just
Grand
called
tournament.
Store Tournament Kit is what it's called.
Yeah.
now. So
Well, with that being said, hopefully we'll get more information on that, and hopefully they do support the communities because, like, ultimately that'd be awesome. I really hope to do a little bit better. In my opinion, I really didn't care for the promo cards that look like they just got a picture of the Clone Wars and slapped it on there.
I mean, that's just what's going to be in the new store champion or store tournament
Yeah.
kit, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thing is it's not going to be cool stuff.
See,
in that.
I
Like,
for
it's
one
gonna be cool, but
I for one really like the Altart um uh that we got in the store championship kits, right? Like the full art Chewbacca and all that stuff. The Yoda, the Grievous and whatnot. Because they are different artwork. Like in the regular Chewbacca artwork, it doesn't have him throwing a stormtrooper. You know, the foil Boba Fett's dope. Like all that stuff's cool. I think the problem we have is we have so much access to a lot of that stuff, whereas somebody else, I think they made it too easy to get, for lack of a better term, where they're not as special. Like you just see them all over the place now. I mean, when we went to the Bakersfield event, everybody got them pretty much. Like everybody got the
We
cool
got
promos.
we got another set, dude.
Yeah, speaking of, yeah, for the I almost forgot. Yeah, for the league, they literally handed Jose an entire German set of the cards.
And
Oh,
Rob
hell
robbed
yeah.
me. He robbed me.
Well, yeah,
He took them from me.
I took them from Jose, and I'm gonna pass them out to people that don't have these promos yet. But
Yeah,
Against my will, those were all mine, and you stole them.
oh yeah.
Oh man.
Well, with that being said, that sucks for not getting worlds. However, swoop in LVO for the rescue because LVO just announced this was like a couple days ago, announcing the LVO Invitational. We are excited to announce a new invitational system for Star Wars Legion at the Las Vegas Open. Over the coming weeks, you will see announcements for us about the new system, qualifying dates, formats, etc. In the meantime, we are hard at work at developing a central hub website for TOs and players alike for LVO. Event rules, LVO player, and event rule packets. Application info, qualifier event schedule, player points, list, and more. Generally speaking, placing high in a large qualifying tournament, winning a qualifying tournament, or earning enough qualifying points will earn you a spot in the main LVO Legion Invitational. Additionally, there will be a last chance open at LVO for those without invites to try to qualify. LVO will still feature the doubles event you will have come to love. So what do you think, Jose, about this announcement that LVO is now going to be essentially world, but not world, right?
So at first I was worried about it because, like, to me, the funnest part about LVO is like the chill aspect of it. Yeah, you get to be in the main tournament, but if you don't get anywhere in the main tournament, you can do the side stuff. And that's what was the main draw because we were lucky enough to make it to day 2 this year, but
everyone got to day 2. Remember
yeah.
Okay, let me phrase this.
Everybody except for Michael who watched King of the Hill.
No. Okay, well, let me phrase
Yeah,
this.
Michael's the first winner.
And
you had a better chance. You made it to day 2, but you had a shot at making day 3 if you were 2-1 there.
Well, no, that's what you meant. It's by day 3.
Yeah. So all of us had a shot at making day 3. So I like that, but I also like that, like the year before, I shit the bed and went 1 and 2, but I got to do the Galactic Battle Force League or whatever, which was like bonkers rules, just having fun.
No, it was unconventional warfare.
Yeah, there you go.
Is he happy with unconventional warfare?
So the reason I like it,
I loved it.
Yeah. So the reason I like this because it was still solo, but you got to run a bunch of cool, weird, wonky stuff. What I was nervous about was when LJ was like, "This is the invitational, and we have doubles." To play in doubles, you have to have somebody who has the same faction as you. So now I got to find somebody else. And
we all know Jose has no friends that go to LVO with him.
Well, no, I have friends. You losers just don't play close to Superior Army. You guys bring like the weird stuff. But no, so I guess LJ made some comments that there's going to be an actual fun like Swiss event for the non-invitational stuff. So that kind of made me feel a little bit more on ease about it. My whole thing was I'm fine with it now that I know there's a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't involve like just doubles.
Well, they said there's a last chance qualifier, which is basically going to be what like LVO was for us 2 years ago, where it's like, yeah, you win that day or you're not going to play the next day.
Which is a fun Swiss too.
Well, what worries me about it is like kind of like what they did at Adepticon. You got to play the last chance qualifier on Thursday, and then the real tournament starts on Friday.
Yeah.
So
right.
We'd be going an extra day early. Yeah.
So it all comes down to how you get to like access to. So okay, there's 2 things I want to talk about here. The first is the idea of LVO at Worlds, and actually that's the thing I want to talk about way later. The thing we should talk about now is how do you actually get to
so
be in the
imagine like you have to get X amount of points, right? Like
right.
let's just say they're league points, right? I would assume, and it's cool that we're bringing this up, but this came up because Daniel, we were talking about the events and stuff because I gave him the LVO sticker. You know how they always give out those
Mhm.
little stickers. And I was like, here you go, man. You didn't get one. He goes, oh, I didn't go. And I'm like, fuck it, dude. Like, you wanted to go. And he goes, yeah, I paid for a ticket. I'm like, he's like, oh, no, what you paid for because I bought his ticket. But he was like, we need to go to the SoCal Open. Like, we need to get a group and go down there
Yeah.
and do it. And I'm like, yeah, because that's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be like SEO, all the other events are going to be giving you X amount of points. So, like, let's just say winning the event gets you, let's just say the number is 10. It's just like, here's 10 points. And
Yeah.
then number two, second place gets you maybe 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. So even just having a good performance, you can gradually get whatever the point value is. So it'd be worth it to be like, all right, we're fortunate, right? We have SoCal Open in California, Bay Area Open in California, and Las Vegas in California adjacent. I think
Yeah.
the Las Vegas is about the same distance from us as like the SEO event. Like it's super close. And if all else fails, we can do the Rocky Mountain one in Colorado.
Oh,
Ooh,
dude, we
we
gotta-
gotta.
we have to.
Wait. That
We
sounds
have
dope.
to.
That would be a great road trip, right?
Yeah.
That
If
we
you guys are
have
willing to
to-
go, if you guys are willing, I am totally down. I have.
If we plan it ahead, and I can set aside stuff like that and whatnot. But dude, I'm down to travel because again, it's not that much. Like Barry Open, I think it's only 2 day. SEOs for
Yeah.
sure only 2 day.
Rocky
So again-
Mountain is Stabcast's event, right?
No, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
it is. 'Cause
okay.
that's next to Dolly World, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Is it that one?
Either way, I'm down. Like
I
I'm
think
totally
you're
down.
thinking the one that just passed the Cherokee Grand
No,
or-
that's
No.
not Stabcast. That's is that Stabcast? That is
No.
Stabcast. Yeah,
Is
no,
it?
Cherokee is Stabcast. Yeah.
Cherokee's in North or South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then there's
Hmm.
LSO, which is Lone Star Open in Texas.
That one so that one is run by somebody I met at Worlds, and that one, and he was a cool guy, so that one would be fun to go to. So
But we can
I-
hit 3 regional events and again the last chance qualifier. So let's just say we do like even just 2 of these, right? You're like, oh, we can't make the Colorado one, but we can make the Bay Area one, the San Bay Area one, and the San Diego one, and then Vegas do the last chance qualifier, and you hopefully do well enough in all 3 of those events to get pretty high placing. I mean, we all do pretty decent at the events in general. Like, you're not going to be getting the 160 players that show up to LVO at most of these events. I mean, you went to the Bay Area Open. How many people showed up?
sorry, that event is literally a meme, but by like everybody meme and by
Ooh.
it's a meme. Like I don't call it a meme, but like literally everyone shit talks that event in Discord and podcasts, like every
Why?
time, because they're like because they're bitching about me going to Worlds for free is why, because they're like we had
Did
to do
they
all this
haze
stuff.
you when you were at Worlds?
No, they
because
didn't
of
know.
that?
They didn't know it was me, but there was constant talk of the small 30-person event in California that got a Worlds invite and ticket.
Rob sitting there like that.
And I'm just like, yeah, hate all you want. Like,
I
let
know,
the hate
but
flow
the
through
thing
you,
when
but
when they talk shit like that is like they could have gone too. Anybody else could have gone. Why didn't you go?
Yeah,
if
no,
it's that easy, if that's small, right?
yeah,
That's the thing is like, dude, you can do a lot of these events and place pretty well and consistent. If you can
Yeah.
consistently get
well,
like,
and here's the thing too. Sorry to interrupt you, but we do have a local tournament that you are going to host. What's saying you can't get, like, if it's 15, 13, 16, are they going to say, hey, you can get so many points, or your winner can get an invitation, right? Like,
right.
And so it could be great, right? It could be better. Who's to say they
Yeah.
don't give Bakersfield invites?
Yeah,
and then we
maybe-
can just go down and win Bakersfield. And
Right. Maybe it's not going to be just FLG events, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming it's going to be FLG because it's a business, right? They want you to play in their events.
right,
They control a lot more of the like, I don't know what they're going to call it.
the
league
thing
or
is about
whatever
FLG
series.
events is they're pretty widespread. So I think they're going to want, particularly because it's not FLG that's creating the invitational, but it's community members. My assumption is they're going to have like regional non-FLG events, at least at first. Long term, who knows? But for right
'cause
now,
there was
that's
the
my guess.
GSG too, right? Like Golden
That's the
State
one
Games.
that's the one I actually went to, by the way. Is GSG.
Oh, I thought it was the Bay Area Open.
No, it's GSG.
Yeah, see.
That's
so
the
there's
one
more
that's the main.
opportunity. Yeah.
Well,
So
so from reading the what they announced, it sounds like there's going to be an application form to see if you want to like qualify for these events or like see
It's
if you
due
get
in a
some
few weeks.
victory points. So like
no. He's talking about JR is talking about for LVO, not
Yeah.
for AMG.
So
Oh,
like,
okay.
like hypothetically, like what if all Rome has to do is put in an application like, hey, I'm running a tournament on this date, and they're just like, all right, if you got like these players, then you can give out these many qualifying points to the winner. You know
And
what I
did
mean?
they already say it's done by points, by the way?
Is
That's one of the
I-
reasons. So it's the new system will have, let's see where it says here. I read it. Qualifying dates, formats.
So you can like build an invite like piece by piece, basically.
That's how
So
a lot of other stuff is.
yeah,
Okay.
so generally speaking, placing high in a large qualifying tournament, so that's one.
Yep.
Winning a qualifying tournament, so that's two, or earning enough qualifying points, or
Got
earning
it.
a spot in the main LVO invitational.
So like they could say like Roman's event, if you win, you get an invite. If you get second place, you get 4 points. If you get third
Right.
place, 2
Right,
points.
right.
Everyone else,
Right.
nothing or
So
something.
yeah.
Well,
so
dude,
there's
like
3 ways.
in Flesh and Blood, the trading card game, my buddy Aaron, the Wiz, I don't know if you guys remember him or not. I don't think Rob was around when he was
I was
playing.
not.
But he goes to the World's Championship event for that just by earning enough like whatever world qualifying points at events, because they give you it's a small amount, but they give you some in side events. So he's like, if I lose the main event, I just go and I do a shit ton of drafts and a shit ton of this and that. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, if it works, it's a
Yeah.
good way to just earn an excuse to be like, fuck it, I'll just go to Florida for this event. Like, I got the points, I earned them. Like, why not?
And
Well,
honestly, I kind of prefer that, like, because that way
Yeah.
it's just like it gives you an incentive to run more tournaments of just like, oh hey,
Well,
if
I
do
mean, I
this,
wish
like,
you were talking
every
about
other month,
AMG implementing this. Like,
right?
Right.
Right?
Well, and then again, it'll give you more opportunity to see a lot of the same players, so it does definitely build a community that way. And we've already kind of been seeing it with Bakersfield and the Fresno area guys, where we kind of know each other for the most part because we see each other regularly at events. So if we go down to the SCO and we see a bunch of those guys down there, they go up to the Bay Area Open, they see us up there along with the Bay Area guys. Like it'll be like, oh, I know these guys, and we are kind of already getting that. Like when we went to LVO and we saw some of the guys that rolled through for the what was his name? Was it Brad? Was the dude?
Yeah, Brad.
yeah, Brad.
who
Yeah,
rolled
Yeah.
through
yeah,
for
Brad.
Vet-
Yeah. Brad was there, Grayson was there. Like we're already seeing, we're already kind of making a network and stuff. So imagine if that's like just encouraged to be like, no, dude, go get your reps and go do
Yeah.
don't just play one event and
Yeah,
go
no,
to the worlds,
No, and it's the same thing with like I went to Worlds and I had played Seth at LVO. And he was judging. I knew more judges than players. I also knew Hob because I played him twice at GSG. And so I knew these people. Jordan was there from LVO, right? So I talked to him. I don't think he knew who I was, but I talked to him because I knew he was, right? So, it's just you like you say, you meet people.
Overall, I'm like super excited. Like I'm kind of bummed that I missed out on the 2 Adepticons that I got invited to. But now that the world is kind of being held at LVO, which is just in our backyard, like
Okay, let's talk about that now. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. This is not Worlds. Not yet.
Well,
maybe in 3 years,
Worlds.
maybe in 5. This is not Worlds.
Hold
This
on.
is the
Worlds.
first this is the first attempt at a non-official source to create a international champ, or at least a large Worlds-esque
Second
championship.
largest. It's
Well,
the only thing bigger than it's the world's
That's
championship.
the thing is like you could say it's not worlds, it's essentially worlds, right?
We
It's the
won't
best
know.
shot.
We won't even know if it's the best shot or anything until we see how this year pans out. Right.
Well,
and
LVO
to
It's the
already-
second biggest event every year. How is it not
Well,
the best shot?
and
in the
LVO
United States.
No,
it's the
well, I'm
second
saying
biggest
LVO
event.
already gets a bunch of foreign people rolling through, dude. We get a lot of Europeans, a lot of Central and South Americans. One of my guys, he's an FLG employee. He did a commission, or not commission. I bought a commission painted
Mhm.
miniature off of him. I saw him at LVO too. I was like, hey, what the fuck Israel's doing up here? He's a freaking, south of the border guy. He can't be up here. I was like, whoa. They're letting anyone in now. But no, in reality, like we're already getting at LVO. It is one of the biggest. We'll also get a lot of Asian travelers because we're on the West Coast, for lack of a better term, versus on the East Coast we'll get a lot more European, right? But no, we're already getting a lot of people. We already get more than Worlds does, like participants and stuff. Like we had 160 something players. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, for Warhammer, when they're getting over 1,000 players, like it's a pretty freaking like
Yeah.
international event. Like and again, if nobody else is running Worlds, this is de facto Worlds if they're dubbing it that. Anybody,
Well,
it's dude.
yeah.
It's funny because this is almost. I was gonna bring it up when it first got announced the way it was gonna be. I'm like, this is almost like territory days for wrestling, which is very in vogue in the sense of like,
That's
bro,
dope.
WWF has their world champion, but so does the NWA have their world champion. So maybe they'll do an event where they all play. You know, they all.
Well, and,
That's what I
and-
had said the
well,
last podcast.
Essentially, like there is no other tournament that we know of that has
Right.
said like, hey, this is gonna be a big deal.
I'm-
So as
I-
of now, this is a placeholder for Worlds, right? Because this
Yeah.
is the one saying like, hey, we're gonna do this.
yeah, I mean, last podcast I said I want Worlds to be at LVO. I am
Hell yeah.
ecstatic that they are doing this at LVO. Don't get me wrong here. What I'm saying is now we have to is that now it's in a building phase, right? We can't assume that this
Right.
next year is going to have that sense of full legitimacy and full Worlds, but we have to hope that it does, that a lot of people show up, and
We
that
also
the
gotta
year
put in the
after
reps
more
like it
people
does.
show
every
up.
year.
Yeah,
And exactly.
And part of that is treating it like it. If you're just like kind of caging, like, I'm not gonna go, I'm not treating it like this is gonna be the world's, then people are gonna be thinking that way too. So when I used to work at the paintball field and paintball shop, we would have all day every week, like players asking, when's the next event, when's the next tournament, when's it, this and that. Everybody wanted to play in these big events, and when we'd throw them, everybody's answer was like, "Oh, well, we'll see if anybody else signs up." I don't know if I can do it. So it's one of those like, no, you got to go in and have the commitment and be like, I'm treating this like it's a world event, and other people see that, and other people do the same, and it becomes that. If people are kind of on the fence, just looking to jump, like that's just kind of how it's gonna pan out. That being
Yeah.
said, it's LVO. It'll still be a fun event. We'll still get Nick out there, talking crap on me and Ed's, hopefully.
Hopefully, we
I'm
can
a-
take a bus. Like that's
What?
my goal. A bus from
What?
Fresno going.
I don't want to be like
LVO.
Grayson.
the Legion Lads short bus.
We got that already, JR, the lad wagon, right? I'm gonna paint it yellow.
I was gonna say Jose's about to paint his yellow.
I'm just saying, like, we're getting it to grow. Our community is growing. Let's keep it going.
I would
man.
it would be awesome if we got like two lad wagons, or I don't think we were gonna get a
In
bus.
fact, I
but-
know for a fact that the people that are playing in the Bart League specifically joined because they weren't going to play me. They're just like, oh, we don't have to play you. I'm joining. Like, yeah, that makes sense,
Right.
man. That makes
But
sense.
again, like it's all about just building up the community. I've just been ultra busy. I've got a lot of personal stuff going on, a lot of life changes happening in the next 3 years. And that's just why I haven't been able to run events like I was before. But I'm glad Rob's stepping up. Nick's running MCP, which is dope. It probably frees me up enough to try to run an event for Shatterpoint. We've got a lot of people asking about Shatterpoint.
Well, there's a Shatterpoint League that just started up
Yeah.
today, from what I saw. So
Yeah, Nick
Yeah.
was telling me I'm looking to run like maybe in a tournament, because for Crisis Protocol on Shatterpoint it's 3x3,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
so you can actually run them in person. But yeah, we'll see, man. Like I had, dude, it just sucks that the weather's so shitty because
Oh,
you were asking me about the parking lot stuff for like a swap meet and whatnot. I had talked to our property manager, and they're kind of open to having events and stuff in the parking lot under certain circumstances. But it gets so hot here. I'm like, to run a tournament outside, it would be ridiculous, dude.
no.
Mhm.
It would be fun,
No.
but ridiculous.
There was a 2-week period that you could have run a tournament outside, and it would have been a great time. And
Well,
you
that was
already
like 3
missed
weeks
it.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hot now.
And you never know when those weeks are going to be beforehand.
Yeah.
It's like random. So
But I'm excited, man. There's a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. We just got to plan it out properly.
we just need. So I mean, at this point, I think the plan needs to be: we find an abandoned building in downtown Fresno. There's a million of
just-
them. We just
and
run
then-
a
and then
tournament.
just run it. Yeah.
Fight the
Don't tell
junkies.
anybody. Yeah. We'll hire security. Jose will do double duty.
Oh god.
No, but I was definitely, I was planning on doing this anyway, but it'll be more fun now that it's LVO is kind of like the main trying to prop themselves as the main thing. I want to see if people want to pitch in for a custom like WWE style belt for the LVO champ. And I want to have like the Legion Lads logo somewhere on it. Obviously the LVO logo, some poker chip stuff, like just make it fun and whatnot.
Let's
and then
do
just
it.
be like,
Yeah.
here, and then here be like, here's the prize support for.
Let's
the
just
winner.
fund it and then just hand it to them and just
Yeah.
it can be
And
the
just be like, here you go, give this out to the first place winner,
Yeah.
because
the
yeah,
Legion
it's-
Lads LVO belt. Like I love
There you
it.
go.
Let's do it.
It'll be what is it? LWO, the Legion, or the LLWO, Legion
LWO.
Lads World Order.
make it like the
I'm
hardcore
bringing meta,
championship.
baby. I'm bringing meta so I get that belt.
There you
Bro,
go.
you
There you
gotta
go,
make it like
yeah.
the hardcore championship where you
Look,
can
look,
win
all
it and
torn
lose
up.
it at any time.
If we learned
No, but-
anything, JR, you could have brought
Parking
all
lot
the worlds in
Legion.
one.
That's true.
But it
That's
is a
true.
bummer though when you win these big events and it's like I don't have anything to show for it. No trophy, no nothing.
Yes, yes, Roman. That's my biggest thing. Is like let the winner win something, not
Which-
store credit, not just a trophy. Give them something for crying out
And,
loud.
and I get it because especially for like LVO, for Legion specifically, it's all on them. It's all on what people donate. The money they're spending is to run the event. It's to have like all
Mhm.
the stuff and the tables and this and that. And yeah, LVO's not FLG's not giving them shit, but they're also not getting the difference between us and Warhammer is about what 900%. Like,
Mhm.
like we're getting 160. They're getting over 1,200 players. Like, I think they had
Wow.
signed up. They had 1,600, and then it was down to like 1,000-ish. when that
Jeez.
actually push came to shove, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we're not doing that. Because Toby was like, it'd be cool to get that kind of money because I think they gave out like 10K for the first place or something, dude. Like.
Wow.
Yeah, do they give out crazy money? But also they're getting look at the amount of players. I mean, they don't charge. I mean, look how much we pay for
It's
entries.
been
Like
around
what, 60,
forever,
70
too.
bucks?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So no, I get it, man. Like it'd be cool to make it big. And again, it'll be cool if we can kind of get ourselves in, at least as somebody who tried to help and support and grow it and have something cool to give out. Again, we'll have the Legion Lad belt, and then maybe we'll make future stuff in general. We'll go to these other events and stuff. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe LVO will be the big belt, but then we'll have like little belts or something for the SCO and
One for
whatnot.
Toby.
Yeah.
Participation
I tried. Dude, that
Well-
was this is pre-Rob.
Toby gets a belt buckle.
The belt buckle, yeah. And he gets a wristband. He's a John Cena wristband that says never give up. So loyalty, respect.
Man, I hope he watches these or listens to them
No,
because
I doubt it.
One of the first events we ran, like where I had like medals and trophies and stuff, Toby got the participation award because he came in pretty much in last place.
Dang.
And I gave it to him, and he was so disappointed. And I think that's when it changed though, because after that he started playing against JR a whole lot. He started
Mhm.
just like playing a shit ton of games and like getting better and better. And he stopped playing because you know how it is when you first play, you're like, I want to play this guy and I want to play the guy that I like. And Toby just gave that up. He's like a kid putting away his toys. He's like, these are no longer toys; these are now tools to win.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you guys. Exciting news coming. LVO is gonna be awesome. Hopefully the AMG prize kits are gonna be cool. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they won't get the AMG prize kit, but yes, because they are an invitational and the grand tournaments explicitly have to be open to the public.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
it's invitational. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
By the
know
way,
who-
Las Vegas Open Invitational. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It's an open invitational. There's no irony in that at all. Anyways,
Well, we're moving on. We'll get Jose, you got some real questions for us?
are we gonna talk about Bakersfield at all?
Depends. You guys want to talk about Bakersfield?
Yeah, I don't have any rules questions prepped. Work's been hellacious. We can go over the Bakersfield stuff real quick. And actually we should, because I gave the shout out to all the wonderful people over there and they got pumped, and the first words out of their mouths were, "You gonna talk about it on the podcast?" And I said yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice.
So
So
go ahead.
oh good. All right. So before we get into the Bakersfield stuff, I'm gonna give a shout out to Grayson Parker for taking first place. Grayson, you are a madman.
What did Grayson
Uh,
run?
He ran-
ran. Oh, good.
Oh, go. I'm in dark.
You
mode.
you have the list. You most
I'm
likely
trying to
have
open it up right now, is what I'm trying to do. But he ran, if I remember correctly, it was let me think. So he definitely had a bus. He had Op Luke, then he had 2 Ewoks, then he had, I think, a fleet or something. So I'm trying to open it up. The game uplink just does not want to work right now. I'm trying to log in and it's just being
Dumb.
Well, that's when I pretended to have technical difficulties.
yeah.
Well, I really like
I
the list
love
already.
the shadow.
It's got
Shadow
Op
Rob.
Luke. It's got Op Luke, the bus, and Ewoks. Like, sign me
Yeah.
up.
No,
That sounds
it-
like a fun list.
And he
Okay.
beat EXZ with it.
Let's see. How do I
Did he
get
do
away
it just by
there?
jamming the bus down the throat?
Okay, so yeah, so let me see. Lists. Here we go. Grayson, he had Come on, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Okay, here we go. Luke Skywalker, burst, force push, Jedi mind trick into the fray. R2D2, just naked. Rebel troopers with the SX-21, which is the shotguns, if I remember correctly. Captains and frags, he had 2 of those. Then he had 1 fleet with the scattergun. Is that the shotgun as well? I don't know. And then 2 Ewok skirmishers. And then he had a land speeder with Shriv, RPS, unstable astromech, a Mark II medium blaster, and an HQ uplink, and then a speeder with unorthodox tactician and a refurbished gonk droid. And from what I understood, he had R2 trying to do secret mission shenanigans as bait. He jammed the bus with OP Luke down their throat, and OP Luke carried games, is how I understand it works.
That's what OP Luke does.
The only game I got to watch of his is the last part of the last game against the XD player, and OP Luke literally hard carried that game. He like force pushed a hostage carrier out of a deployment. It wasn't even that he murdered it; it's that he pushed it out of the deployment and then later murdered it. Like there was they only got to like turn 4, which he played Son of Skywalker that turn. Murdered the hostage squad, murdered the other squad that could have picked up the hostage, picked up the hostage himself, and at that point, it's like nothing that his opponent could do. So it was just brutal. But yeah, so why don't you talk about your games?
Congrats, Grayson, on that, because I always like to see some good OP Luke being played and carry the game on its back.
Yeah, it was awesome. So shout out to Grayson, and I'm gonna go ahead and give the other players some love too. We had Damian Ramirez, Andrew Heeland, Zach Newman, our very own Rob, James Lautner, me, Joshua Cargill, and Zach Arellano. Thank you for having us. Thank you for playing. That was awesome. So I'm gonna go through my games kind of quick because there were 9-day differences, and for me, after hearing and talking about Geos and EXD, this was my first time playing any of them. So my first game was pretty quick. It was against Mr. Zach Arellano. We basically played key positions, danger close, and supply drop. It was basically a shoot 'em up game, which was weird because I was able to like destroy the bugs, which gave me a false sense of security going into my third game. I ended up winning that game on a last chance push. He went to secure one of the points that I had a standby clone on, and the clone just blew up the geos, and I won that one.
And so real quick, sorry, when you finish the game, can you just tell us what you played?
Oh yeah. So I played I called my list the dynamic duo. I played Clone Captain Rex with lead by example, seize the initiative, his jetpacks, and recon intel, with Commander Cody with seize the initiative. I had 3 phase 2 clone troopers with Z6 and targeting scopes. I had 2 phase 1 clone troopers with the DC-15, and I had 2 ATRTs, both with laser cannon, 1 with link targeting array, and 1 with emergency transponder.
All right, that's spicy.
Yeah. So the first game was pretty much just a shootout. Second game is where it got interesting, because second game was my first foray into EXD. And JR, you're gonna laugh at me, but once again, I did not lose to the list. I lost to the clock. So going into that game, I was kind of like on my back foot a little bit, because Rob's like, you're gonna play EXD and you're gonna see what it does and everything. So I was like, okay,
real quick, I think the context matters here first. I had just lost to the XD player, and Jose was talking mad shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that matters a lot. And we'll talk about my games later, but I had just lost to this guy, and Jose's like, man, I can't believe you lost your first round. He's like, EXD is nothing. And so,
jeez.
it's so,
so here's the funny thing is I made a critical. So you ever get those moments when you're like, I should measure this, but I'm pretty sure I got this. I should have measured this because I got Rex blown up round 1 or turn 1. And
this is against the EX guy?
Yeah. So here's the
Wait,
thing.
what's his list? Like, what version of the EX was he running?
So he was. Oh, go ahead, Robbie. Oh no,
I don't have it up, but he didn't submit it, but I know it because it's to me it's the most basic standard version of the list. It's so T series and a Kalani with aggressive tactics. Then it's 3 BXs, and each of the BXs have shields and O push. And then it was 2 B2s with Haas. And then this is where things get a little bit different. It was 2 B1s with the med droids, but also the ranged 4 gun for the E5S. And that's the only thing that made it different from other versions of this list.
So my initial plan was to go with airstrike and then duck Rex into the corner right by the center point. So towards the end of the game I could go out there and do call me captain. But since I didn't do my due diligence, I got Rex blown up round 1, which put everything on Cody. So at that point I realized like, okay, I messed that up. I got to play super cagey. So the way the map was constructed was there was like an X going from point to point, and the way he deployed everything was he on the right side of that X, he had the 2 B2s and Kalani, and then everything else was on the left side. So in my mind, I was like, if I can force the engagement into that center point, he can't compete with me. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it. So what I like to do with the ATRTs is, since they're line of sight blocking and there was 2 points that I could get shot from, I do this method that I call opening and closing the door. So what I do is I'll line up the ATRTs to give me full line of sight blocking on what I don't want to fight and engage everything on that open door. So what ended up happening was with the ATRTs, I was able, with the ATRTs and Cody, I was able to destroy that whole left side and make Kalani flank, or yeah, I think it was Kalani, flank to the safe side. And I was able to then open the door in the center and force the engagement into the middle. The problem was I ran out of time. I thought we were moving at a good pace because me and him were of the agreement. I'm double moving, you're double moving. You're gonna double move. I'm gonna grab my unit. I'm gonna double move. We're just the pace of play was up. But somewhere in the game, we got really, really cagey, is what I'm thinking, and we lost track of time because when it came down to it, the judge called time, and it was scored as is, which had the time not expired, my play was going to be to run my ATRT over there, stomp on the zone or on the scoring point, knocking everybody off and rush everybody up. But it was too late. And when we were talking about it, my opponent was like, dude, if you would have had Rex, it would have been a complete different story. And that's what it came down to, is not having Rex. But once again, I was telling Rob, I said, just like LVO, like the guy that I played round 1 went to top 8 with Ewoks, and I lost because of time. Not because I couldn't win, but
You just said if you had Rex, it would have been
Thank
different.
you.
That's not time.
No. So once again, it would have been different. But no, what I'm saying is he couldn't beat me in that kill lane. He had already lost both B2s, both full B2s. I had
But you
wounded
said you would have rushed up the ATRT and then the rest of your guys. That's not just 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. That's like 5-10 minutes at least.
No. But what I'm saying is we were in round 3 or 4. Once again, like had we had the pace of play been up, I would have won that. I would have won that.
I am not
You're blaming
convinced.
the clock. So I think you deserve to lose this game because you refuse to practice with clocks.
Well, okay, so beyond that, going off the game state, I'm not so sure that you can say you would have won that game guaranteed. I think what you can say is you had a chance to win that game. It may have been 50-50. It may have been 60-40 in your favor. But there's no way that you had a guaranteed chance to win that game with that.
Yes, I did, because I had a full health ATRT that he couldn't bring down because his only source of impact was gone.
Okay, but the HRT runs up and then just whiffs or something, right? Like
I didn't need to attack. He was shooting. He even told Rob I was shooting at the ATRTs all game long, and he was like,
which was his mistake, right?
Yeah. Like, so once again, the mistake doesn't change because the ATRT just goes and sits on the point, line of sight blocking, and he still has no impact because I deleted his impact. His only form of impact, Cody and the ATRTs deleted it. So had he had the B2s, I would say yes, it wasn't a game that I was going to win. But the only source of impact was gone, and both of his BXs were heavily wounded. So he was shooting into 3 almost full health phase 2 clones with Z6s, a full health Cody. Like there's no coming back from that. His shields were spent most of the time, and he couldn't afford to replenish them. And the other thing that worked in my favor, JR, was I was talking to Rob, because one thing I didn't know, and I'm glad I know now, is that those tokens that they get, the 3 tokens they get per round, I didn't know that they stack them. I didn't know he can hold all of them. So in my opening game plan, he engaged with me and took the fight to me, and my clones were giving it back to where he was burning all of his tokens and didn't get a chance to stack. So not only did he not only did he not have the impact to deal with the RT, he also didn't have tokens to deal with anything else because he burned them all prior.
Right. So one of the reasons why a lot of the higher end players, and not all, but a lot, don't run 3 BXs because BXs are surge hungry. And so not running 3 allows you to stack more easily, basically, for those later turns.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm just grading this as, like I said, a first attempt, which was good, and it was a great game. I told him I want to go back and we're gonna run it back, and I'm gonna bring 2 sabers this time. Fuck the ATR2s.
Well, I mean, but you're already running armor is already the answer to EXT, right? And you're running light armor. You're not running the heaviest of armor, right? You're not running double
No
saber.
comms jammers.
But armor itself is their weakness, right? That is what they don't do well against until they all start running impact grenades on their BXs, which I faced at Worlds, and it's freaking terrifying to see those BXs with impact grenades. But until that happens, like that's their thing they can't deal with, right? So
yes, I think it's big armor more than little armor, because the big armor, they're carrying things towards them. They're carrying
armor is armor.
No, it's not, because what's more terrifying, an ATRT, 2 ATRTs, or 2 buses with things that are going to blow you up when they get out? That's a big difference. That's a really big.
You're talking about a transport versus armor.
I'm saying big armor units. Like I don't have a saber attack pool. I don't have an AT attack pool. I don't have a chicken walker attack pool. I have 3 dice. So I can't afford to put comms jammer because I need the extra aim.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So yeah, it'd be a different story. Like I said, I still want to play more games. But anyways, getting to the 3rd game, this is where Rob watched my heart break.
He had some Roman rolls.
I got super excited to play on this Geonosian table because it's wide open, JR. It's wide open. Hell yeah, let me smash some bugs. The fact that they can jump for free is bullshit, because they get 3 free moves. And then we played payload, so I had to go towards them to take my payload. And literally, round 2 gets into my full health phase 2 eats a shot from freaking bugs, and they just get 1 shot. I was ready to fucking concede right there, because I'm like, that's 91 points gone. Heavy cover didn't matter. And he goes, yeah, that's the big pool. That's 9 dice. Then he comes up on the side and shoots another pool. He's like, oh, don't worry, it's a smaller pool. I was like, oh, cool. How small? He's like, 8 dice. 1 shot's another phase 2 unit.
Are you doing death from above?
Yeah. He's 1-shotting units. And then he heavily wounds one, and then Bosco's like, I got this guy. Nukes another unit. By turn 4, I'm down to just Rex, Cody, a chicken, and a heavily wounded phase 1. And Rex is just fire supporting. He's killing everything, and it's just not enough. And that finally Rob's like, you need to get table. Like, well, I ain't getting tables. Like, what do you mean you're about to get table? I'm like, I concede.
I didn't say you need to get tabled. I said you're going to get tabled.
Dude, why? It was so wild, dude. His white saves were like 70, 80%. And surges on deck, and I'm blanking red saves, dude.
Yeah, I walked up and he rolled like 5 red and got 0 saves.
I was gonna say,
no, dude, it was my first foray into my first game with Geos. Like, I was blowing him up. Cool. Second game with Geos, I couldn't save my life. Like,
after playing a couple games against them, if you force them to spend a turn moving towards you, and then you can shoot them with something else, before their next turn, that's what you have to do. If
Yeah,
you
I'm
Yeah,
not
let
you have
them,
to
thinking
position them.
if
Yeah.
that
you
was-
if you let them get shots against you, you will die.
Yeah, so
Like-
no, that was the mistake. The mistake was I wanted to play payload because I done KP and intercept, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm tired of static. I want to play some fun stuff." Me and him were like, "Yeah, we'll do payload. We haven't done payload. I haven't. You haven't. Let's do it." That was the thing that got me killed. Had it been intercept or had it been KP, like clones are gonna be in a shooting gallery on an open map. But I wanted to play something fun, and I got the win taken out.
Did you have fun?
Not that game. A great opponent, but that I looked like what's his name, like Ralph. I was like, oh, it was terrible, dude.
Yeah.
And,
You
and
slow
made
it down, you
worse,
can see the exact moment his heart
and
breaks.
it makes it worse because Rob just give it to him, and then Grayson's like, whoop his ass. I'm like, God damn, dude. It was just.
Is
all
it?
kinds
Was it
of
a stop?
I'm
Stop!
sorry,
He's
I'm sorry,
already
after-
I
dead
told him
moment.
that. I told him that.
After the first game, okay, so after game 1, I had lost and Jose had won, and he gave me so much shit. So the rest of the day, I'm just like, fuck it. I want Jose to just get burned, and he got burned. So
You're
The
not in
Legion
his
lads-
corner this event.
The Legion lads
Yeah.
win, and we embarrassed you guys.
I'm gonna briefly talk about my games. I'm gonna skip game 1.
Hold on, before we go on to your,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, no more excuses, Jose. You can't blame losing by the clock if you're not practicing the
you.
clock.
Thank you.
I'm gonna play more games. I do want to go to
There you
Wait,
go.
chess clocks.
I do want to play. I do want to play Bakersfield and Bakersfield more events, and that's why I told Rob that's kind of why I like the league aspect of it because I'm not jamming one list. I'm gonna play every faction in this league, and it's just gonna get me my tempo up. That's what I'm working on is
Good.
my tempo. My
But
tempo
you're
costs
gonna
me
use
more.
chess clocks, right?
I don't think he needs a chess clock because he needs to learn how to play without one as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just needs a
it still
timer.
makes you
Just play on the
faster,
time.
yeah.
Just play a time. Just play.
The timer wasn't working on the app.
I know, but just
Use your phone.
Yeah.
You're the one that says
about
that just use your phone is the better way to play the game anyways because that's what AP came up with.
I didn't think about that.
Here's what's gonna happen when we play our match in the league. I have a chess clock. We'll play chess clock.
Rob and I kept trying to do chess clock, and we're just too fucking dumb to remember to use it, dude.
That's why you play because
Yeah,
it's
you
so
just have
easy
to keep
forget.
doing it and doing it.
You gotta get that repetition.
Yeah.
I just need time, not the chess clock. I'm not gonna make top 8 anywhere.
If they move up, I know, right? If they move the Bakersfield events to Sunday, I'll probably be able to make those again. But
I don't
yeah,
think they
Saturdays is
are.
hard. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's yeah.
It didn't used to be Sundays.
yeah, that's yeah.
The shop down there doesn't want to do Sundays anymore because they had to open too early. So
Yeah.
and they had a lot of stuff going on that Saturday, right? Like there was us, there was like people playing Magic, there were people playing Warhammer. They had people making pottery. Like it was like everything.
In hindsight, though, I was the real winner because they rolled a D6 and I won a Raising Cane's box.
Hell yeah.
And I'm the reason we stayed long enough for that.
Yeah.
I said, hey, what about the Raising Cane's? Because at first I'm like, all right, Jose, let's go. And then I'm walking out and I see the Raising Cane's sign because they have a big Raising Cane's sign. I'm like, oh wait, hey, what about the Raising Cane's thing? And then Jose won. But I'm gonna talk. We're way over, so I'm just gonna talk briefly about my games. I'm gonna skip game 1 because that's the one I want to talk a while about. I'm gonna go to game 2 and 3. I lost game 1, so my games 2 and 3 were against people that were 0-1 and then 1-1 because I won both of these other games. In round 2, I played against Zach, and he was the Geo player that Jose had just beat. And we actually played on the Imperial Outpost map, which had basically by the center 2 major terrain pieces that mattered. One was the big bunker thing that you got in year 1 of whatever that STL big pack is, right? So it's the bunker. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Imperial bunker.
Imperial bunker, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the official one, the unofficial
similar
one.
one, yeah. The
smaller
more
one?
square one, yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
and the other was the height 2 like landing pad that has the 2 poles that it stands on.
Yeah, the pillars, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
have
so
that one. That's like my home one.
Yeah, so there were those 2 things on the board, and one was on one side, one was on the other. And when I'm looking at the table to decide table side, I decide to go on the lower one because I'm like, all right, he has death from above. I don't want him going up top, but this bunker is just you can hide behind it and have full control of the middle. We played sabotage. And so we were playing major offensive sabotage. So my sabotage stuff is all the way on my side of the board, just super safe. He has the bid, so I'm already winning. He has to come to me. And so round one, he starts coming towards me. Oh, I didn't even mention my list yet. I am playing, and the name of the list matters a lot here. The name of the list is I just want to show off my promo command cards. And so my list was it was basically what I played at GSG, but it was Iden, Bosk, Officer, one Stormtrooper with a medic, a Shore Trooper with a medic, recon intel, and a heavy, and a mortar. I just wanted to try Shore and mortar. I'd literally never put a mortar on the board before. And then Inferno Squad and 2 Death Troopers. So as you can imagine, he starts moving his geos forward, and I blow him up. Right, I'm sitting at range 4. Then he has to run into me, and I just start blowing him up, killing geos left and right. He starts trying to push in, and I just kill him. After a certain point, I'm just going to move stuff forward in a dumb way just to let him try to get attacks on me. So I walk on top of the bunker, which means he can go on top of his big fancy height 2 train to get death from above shots. He does a bunch of those. Doesn't matter. I'm like blocking saves left and right. I'm not dying. He almost kills Iden. Doesn't matter. I like basically nearly table him. Great game. Fun. I killed some geos. Third game, I was playing against, was that against the other Zach? I think it was against the other Zach. No, that was against James. And in that game, he was playing Bosk, 3 Staps, and like some B2s, Magnas. We're playing Battle Lines, Intercepts, and similarly, he just starts moving. So like the first thing he does his Staps first. Like first activation is a Stap. So he moves it in right into my lines. And so by the end of round 1, I've killed both, like 2 out of 3 Staps. There's a big LOS blocker in the middle of the table that, not in the middle of the table, but basically in between Bosk and my army. So I hide from Bosk round 1, and I just blow him up, right? He eventually concedes because I just killed too much. The interesting game is my first game, and that was against Damien, the EXD player. And so in that game, I made a few crucial errors. Number one, it came down to time as well as today's game, but I did not lose to time. I lost because I just could not outshoot him. In that game, I made the mistake of so the flop was key, intercept, sabotage, and then hostage. I decide to move to sabotage, and I was blue player, which meant he swapped to hostage. And now in my head, I'm like, that's fine. I can do great on hostage. What ends up happening is he murders my hostage round 1 or round 2. The other mistake I chose is I chose the mortar to be the hostage because it moves fast. Because I was told this is the way to do. This is one of the things mortars are good at. No, dumb. Why would anybody ever do that? Choose the squad with 6 health, not the one with 3 health. Like the mortar got blown up in 2 shots.
Yeah, but the idea is it's supposed to get super fast away, and then when it gets killed, your other guys come in, pick it up, and run off
right.
with extra
But
ones.
and so what happened is I couldn't activate it on time because he's playing super attack. And so JR, can you guess what card he played round 2?
He's playing the super tag, right?
Yeah.
Round 2, he probably played the 1 pip.
Yeah, the 1 pit.
Yeah.
Which means I couldn't have an order out for my guy. So I'm trying to pull it. I don't pull it in time before it dies.
Well, I mean, because what did you play? Sorry, I don't know if you said it.
My army, it was Iden Death Trooper.
No. When he played the 1 pip, the attack 1 pip, what did you play?
Did I play that turn? I think that wasn't Tack Strike. I don't remember what I played.
Because if it wasn't a command card, they only issued 1 order. You get to choose which order to put back in the bag.
Right. So I'm pretty sure I played a boss card, but I get to choose. I thought I have to put 1 in the bag.
But you get to choose which one. So like
So you give out multiple orders.
Yeah, if you had a competition and you gave out all orders, you'd be like, okay.
So it wasn't, because I think it was like the boss command card. And he had a 2 pit, but it was supply drop, so I had a hollow projector to put on the mortar. And so you can't put back boss.
Yeah, you can't use boss bet.
So I wouldn't have been able to put one back. In retrospect,
You
though,
misplayed it.
I should have played like a 3-pip where I could have passed out multiple orders.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't think about that. Thank you. That's
Well, again, if
for
you
the
bring your
future.
shoulders up to where your mortar's going,
Mhm.
you give them an order, bounces it to the mortar as well.
Right.
Round two. There's so many combos. It
Yeah,
moves
and
fast.
I also
But
I
maybe-
also probably should have moved the shores up sooner so that they were in range 1. But
But
basically, yeah.
The
What's
main
up with
focus
that?
is that you played it right with the mortar being the hostage carrier because it moves faster and had
Higher
a bigger
courage.
base and higher courage. It's
Mhm.
just that you misplayed. That's all. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But
Well, then that's good to
It
know.
happens, Rob. It's okay. It's
I
okay.
know,
We're all
I'm
losers
not-
here,
Yeah.
except JR.
Yeah, I think my shores are just like right outside of range 1. Man, that would have been better if I just done the shore to the mortar and then I could have just
Yeah,
put the normal
yeah,
shores back.
yeah.
They still would have gotten their aim too.
I was gonna say, do they still keep their aim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were issuing
But
order. Yeah.
that would have changed the game, and I think at that point I would have done a lot better. In that game, I basically tried to plink away at as much of his stuff as I could. We were playing advanced positions, and so my army, if this is my L, my army was mostly around here in my back corner. Like I wasn't in the center area, right? But I was on this part. I had my ISF and Iden up here. They had infiltrated, so he had an LOS blocker, but they could like go like from this angle, like on this angle, they could shoot behind the LOS blocker. So they were like kind of poking shots there. I whittle, and so throughout the game, I whittle down everything but the BXs. His BXs, if this is his L, they're all here. And there's a building right here that they're hiding behind. And so like I'm able to like outrange them and hide from them. Like I did a really good job dealing with the BXs, I think. It's just I murdered his hostage squad twice. And then finally he smartens up, picks it up with a BX at the end of a round. I get one shot on it. It was my tack strike turn. I get like all 7 hits in. He fails 4, which means 1's alive. Next turn, he's able to go with them before I can go with the special forces, and they just run away. And at
You
that
didn't have a
point,
1-pip in your back pocket to get that final kill off on the
I
next
did have a
round?
1-pip, which but it was a 1-pip, but I couldn't issue an order to somebody who could shoot that.
Oh, okay.
So in retrospect, I played poorly that game. Like I don't even think I played the 1-pip there. I think I played like Reptilian Rampage or something, and he played a 1-pip. No, we had a roll off that round. I do remember we had a roll off that he won, but either way, it wasn't enough. Hostage runs away. I don't have a hostage picked up at that point because my mortar died. I moved my shores up to it. They're killed. And at that point, it's just kind of over. And that's when time is called. It's like round 4. He has a hostage. I don't. GG. But EXT is very scary. I don't think Empire has a good chance on even footing. You have to figure out a way to basically cheese it. He made a ton of mistakes. Like he forgot aggressive tactics, like 3 out of 4 rounds. Like he forgot all this stuff and he still was just able to just clinch it. So
I was gonna
Yeah.
say was you didn't infiltrate Iden or the Inferno Squad. Did you have Inferno Squad?
yeah, they were both infiltrated.
And did you tech strike turn 1?
No.
Wow.
Turn one, there was nothing in range of anything except for Iden could get a range infinite shot and ISF could get a range 5 shot. My death troopers were out of range of everything.
I'm surprised you didn't tech strike turn 2.
I should have, or
Because if
I
that's when
think
your hostage died,
I'm pretty sure I tack strike turn 3 again. There's just like trying to get in range. I probably should have, or maybe I did. I don't remember, frankly.
because tech strike on turn 2, you would have deleted his hostage squad.
Right, which I do. Right, mind you, I kill his hostage squad, and then I kill a B2 squad that picks up the hostage. I kill another B2 squad that picks up the hostage. And then finally, turn 3, he picks up the hostage with the BX squad. I almost murder the BX squad, and then they get away with 1 health. Like I am killing all of his stuff. It's not like I'm not getting shots off. It's not like I'm trying to kill his hostage. I am. It's just not enough.
Yeah, you couldn't get that extra 1. Yeah.
Yeah. And granted, I should not have gotten that many wounds in the first place. Like 4 wounds off 1 death trooper shot is brutal. So yeah. But great games, had a ton of fun. Would go again, probably not next month because I'm going to KublaCon the week after, but we'll
I
see.
will avenge us, Rob.
Do it. Go with JR. Just go like
I want to go. Like, I want to play more Legion and everything, but I'm kind of in the same boat with Roman. Like, I just got a lot of shit going on, and
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for life to
Yeah.
slow down a bit.
I've
Speaking of
got,
a lot of shit going on, I think it's been a 2-hour podcast. I think
Yeah.
we should probably call it.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, thank you guys for joining me for this podcast, and
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
everyone that listened. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Later.